no money for hustlers. We got major headlines. We got major stories.
You've just listened to the program Editorial Review with Jackson C. Clay Jr. You can join in tomorrow for a fresh edition. We play you interlude of music till 12 o'clock. At 12 o'clock, we bring you 30 minutes of news from our News and Current Affairs department here at ABC Radio. You're listening to ABC. Stay tuned for more programs on this broadcast.
From the ABC News, the best amongst the rest. We bring you accurate, balanced, and credible news as it unfolds.
We heard that people were getting killed, women were getting raped, and different things, and we couldn't understand it. I could not understand it because these are things that we did not tolerate in Liberia.
ABC News also digs out the truth amidst speculations and growing controversies.
It is my belief that the most effective way to directly impact the poor and to narrow the gap between the rich and poor is to ensure that public resources do not end up in the pocket of government officials.
We strive to keep you abreast with happenings in Liberia and other parts of the world. Join us at 7 p.m. for ABC News. ABC News, the best amongst the rest. We bring you accurate, balanced, and credible news as it unfolds.
We heard that people were getting killed, women were getting raped, and different things, and we couldn't understand it. I could not understand it because these are things that we did not tolerate in Liberia.
ABC News also digs out the truth amidst speculations and growing controversies.
It is my belief that the most effective way to directly impact the poor and to narrow the gap between the rich and poor is to ensure that public resources do not end up in the pocket of government officials.
We strive to keep you abreast with happenings in Liberia.
From the News and Current Affairs Department of the Atlantic Broadcasting Corporation, a pleasant good afternoon and welcome to ABC Media News. 30 minutes of news about Liberia, Africa and the rest of our world. Today is Wednesday, April 19, 2023. I am Jefferson Wiyat anchoring, and these are stories we're following. Vice President Joel Howard Taylor discloses $5 million United States dollars on the way for Southeast Road construction as she toured the area. Liberian economist Sam Jackson says President Weah is to blame for the hardship being suffered due to lawmakers' failure of oversight. The Liberia National Police charges an 18-year-old man identified as Jefferson Moba for manslaughter. And away from Liberia, a Russian woman trapped in an Orthodox Greek church in Sudan's capital, Khartoum, with about 15 other people, says their situation is desperate as they have no electricity, water or food. The details of these, the news bulletin, the voices of the newsmakers are all packaged in this edition. But after this break. Thank you for joining us. We now cross over to Lovette Nicolene for the news bulletin. Good afternoon, Lovette.
Good afternoon, Jeff. Good afternoon, Liberia. Vice President Joel Howard Taylor has disclosed that the government is securing $5 million United States dollars for the construction of roads in the southeast. Vice President Taylor said the deplorable road condition is a major factor hampering development in that part of the country. The VP said the fund, when finalized, will ease the many challenges being faced by the people within the locale. According to her, the government is concerned about bettering the livelihood of the people, noting such will not be downplayed. She told the people of Maryland the government is working up modalities to identify with those who were affected by a shipwreck in the county. At the same time, Vice Taylor stressed the need for economic viability within the southeast, noting that the ports of Buchanan, Sino, and Harport are vital to such endeavor. She made the assertions when she visited Maryland County as part of her tour to the southeast. A political economist, Samuel Jackson, has attributed the underperformance of President George Weah to the failure by the legislative and judicial branches of government to properly execute their responsibilities. Speaking on the Tuesday's edition of our flagship program, Morning Breeze, the veteran Liberia economist described the legislative and judicial branches as weak. According to Jackson, the formal functioning of the two branches will ensure that the president, through the executive acts in conformity with the law and in the interest of Liberians. Samuel Jackson, however, wondered why lawmakers who are in the direct representation of the citizenry will bury their integrity against the common good of the state by accepting bribes for the passage of bad legislations. Meanwhile, the tough-talking Liberia economist has branded former VP Barker and Alexander Cummings as visionless politicians who have failed to state how they would tackle and address the poor living conditions of citizens if elected. An 18-year-old man identified as Jefferson Malba, who stabbed his in-law to death, has been charged for manslaughter. Defendant Jefferson Malba on April 6 of last year was accused of stabbing victim Prince Malba with a kitchen knife in the upper corner of the chest during a fist fight. According to a police investigation, the defendant and the victim were in-laws and lived in the same community when the fight broke out. The police, upon their preliminary investigation, charged Jefferson for violating Chapter 14, Subchapter A and Section 14.2 of the revised penal laws of the Republic of Liberia. Following the charge, defendant Morba pleaded with government to grant him mercy. According to him, his action was in self-defense due to the victim's posture. He claimed the victim attacked him with a single-barrel gun while in the process of argument. The Minister of Youth and Sports, Adizoka Wilson, has disclosed that the Ministry's Temporary Empowerment Community Youth Project will commence its budget year operations on May 1st, 2023. Minister Wilson said during President Weah's tour that TC workers and the three lawmakers were made an appeal that funding for the coastal sanitation project be increased. He indicated that $1.5 million was added to the initial $1 million that was allocated to run the program, noting that the project will be extended to 5 counties, including Birmingham, Refugee, Maryland, and Grand Bassa. Minister Zoka Wilson asserted that the project will empower a total of 3,848 people that will be included on the TC project. Meanwhile, the Youth and Sports Minister has assured workers of the Beaches and Waterways project that they will be incorporated into the coastal sanitation project, asserting that they should meet with their various lawmakers if they must be included. The National Muslim Council of Liberia has disclosed that the month of Ramadan is expected to end on Thursday or Friday based on the sighting of the Christians citing such in result. The Deputy Grand Mufti Sheikh Farouk Koning urged the council's county chairman and imams to observe Eid al-Fitr on Friday, April 21, 2023. When the moon is sighted on Saturday, April 22, 2023 to complete the 30 days of the month of Ramadan. Addressing the press in Konkutan, Sheikh Khan mandated all Muslims to use this year's celebration of Ramadan as an opportunity to foster peace and unity. The National Muslim Council of Liberia is calling on all imams to pray for the country's peace and the country's leaders to solidify the already existing harmonious relations with members of other faiths in Liberia. The opposition Liberty Party is calling on all the political leaders of Unity Party, Joseph Boyka, to fast-track the selection of his running mate ahead of the pending general and presidential elections in October. Speaking on the Hard Talk via telephone on Wednesday, Liberty Party Vice Chair for Press and Public Affairs, Daniel Sandu, expressed optimism over the selection of Senator Yombli Kanga Lawrence as running mate to Ambassador Joseph Boyka. Daniel Sandu said Boyka Kanga Lawrence ticket is strong enough to render the Coalition for Democratic Change government one term. According to him, contending political parties in the pending October 10 elections are fighting by the Joseph Boyka and Yombli Kanga Lawrence ticket, alleging that they are doing everything possible to stop their pairing. The chairperson of the National Elections Commission has committed to prosecuting all alleged double registrants for violating the electoral laws of the country. David Hector Brown Lasana said those involved will be dealt with according to the law. According to her, there are several persons arrested during the first phase of the biometric voters registration and are currently undergoing investigation by the Ministry of Justice. Madam David Hector Brown Lasana said those under investigation will be denied all access to their voting cards if found guilty. She said their information will be deactivated from the BVR system and will not be allowed to participate in every electoral process. The next chairperson, however, assured Liberian of her commitment to securing a successful voter registration process in the country. She promised the NEC commitment to ensure strong measures during the conduct of the second phase of the BVR exercise in the remaining counties.
Lovette Nicolene with the news bulletin, one of the regular features on the program. She returns later with our foreign developments. In case you've just tuned in, one of the stories we're following this afternoon, Vice President Joe Howard Taylor discloses $5 million United States dollars on the way for Southeast Road construction as she toured the area. Well, straight into the news now. President George Weah message to connect farm to market roads through the construction of roads across the country is being reiterated by the Vice President Joe Howard Taylor. Madam Taylor told the people of Maryland County that the problem of bad roads in the southeast is about to be solved in the nearest time. She disclosed that the government is securing $5 million United States dollars for the construction of roads in the southeast. Here is Vice President Taylor speaking when she visited the people of Maryland.
The most critical view that I've seen is on the roads, and thankfully we're already working on both ends. I think the caucus have made an arrangement of about $5 million, according to what Senator Patikwa said, to make sure that the roads are rated so people can pass a little bit easily. As I came up on this end, we actually saw equipment on the road for that. So I'm hoping it will be done quickly before the real heavy rains come. Another thing that was important in addition to the roads was the issue of this government making a contribution to the economic activity here. I also got a report from those who had put their boots on the ship that sunk. Had been promised by the Minister of Finance, the President was here, that there will be something done to give them something to start their businesses, because many people lost. In fact, there were lots of lives on that ship. We're hoping that with the ships that are coming now, some insurance will be secured, because that particular ship left the crew without any insurance. So what has happened, it seems like nothing happens to it. But if they had the insurance that they needed, that insurance would have paid for life, would have paid for the goods. People would have gone back to the business.
At the same time, Vice President Taylor stressed the need for economic viability within the Southeast, noting that the ports of Buchanan, Sino, and Harper are vital to such endeavor.
We are concentrating on opening up our economy at every level. For example, the ports are the gateway to our country. Everything